Right. Just as I was rightly introduced, my name is David Nana Amoah Mensah. I know whatever was said about me, you wouldn't remember, but I don't need you to remember all of them. All I need you to remember is my name because it's very important to me. So the name is David Nana Amoah Mensah, and you're welcome to today's session. And it's going to be more of a discussion, just as I said earlier during the presentation. All right, fantastic. So if you can see my slide, I'll just want you to give me a thumbs up wherever you are. If only you can see my slide, and if I have to move so that you can see it well too, you just let me know. All right, just give me a thumbs up. Please, can you see my slides? Right, fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. And so today is going to be more of a practical strategies of how to support and grow your child's or your child with autism, and also get to identify their hidden talents. All right, so let's move. Before we begin, let me just stop sharing again and share. I want to have the slide on my machine as well so that I can view from this angle and share more. All right, fantastic. So obviously, great. I can see this now. Okay. I'm not seeing the slide here, right? But then I can use this one, so it's fine. Before we begin, okay, just as we begin, I'm having a little bit of technical issue here, sharing my slide, because when I share this, I'm not able to see from my end as well. So I just want to get the whole picture clear so that I can be able to share. Ruben, I don't know if you can help me with this one, but I think I should be able to share the slide now. Yes. Okay, so sharing from this one, and we share. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, great, fantastic. So I think it's okay now. If it's okay, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, I just need you to follow me for this one. Right. I think it's okay now, so we can rightly begin. So yes, today is going to be more of a discussion. We're going to look at the practical strategies to spot and grow your child who is autistic, okay, his hidden strength. Purely practical. Now, before we begin, I want you to ask yourself these questions before we begin, just so that you can get the narrative from where I want to come from. Now, why is it that it is okay for you to get something wrong, although you have been taught, but it is not okay for that autistic child to get something wrong, although he or she has been taught? Ask yourself this question. Why is it okay for you to wake up in the morning, feel your neck is having a pain, or you feel a pain in your neck? Now you walk with your head tilted to the other side due to maybe bad sleeping position, or maybe you're not sleeping on a good mattress, all right? And you feel the pain. Sometimes we go to work wearing neck guard, all right? But it is not okay for an autistic child to feel the same. They are not able to communicate, they are not able to talk. And so here in their case, they are going to cry, they are going to throw tantrums, they are going to feel uncomfortable. You want to tell me that they are not able, they shouldn't be able to feel the same? You can talk, so you know that, okay, I wake up in the morning having neck pain, I need to take some medicine, some painkillers just to feel fine. But that autistic child cannot communicate, cannot regulate emotions, cannot regulate feelings. So can't you tell that the morning crying can be due to the fact that maybe that autistic child didn't have a sleep well, or is having a pain somewhere around the body? I'm also asking you this question. Why is it okay for you to choose a particular food on the menu at a restaurant, although you are not allergic to other foods? When I ask you this, you tell me it's preference. That is fantastic. But It feels disturbing to you when an autistic child decides not to eat a particular food due to maybe its texture, maybe due to its ingredients, maybe due to its taste, its smell, and its temperature. That is also preference. So you see, myself, yourself, and other people have been very biased when it comes to autism. We've been biased to humanity. We've been biased to children on the spectrum. Because if we can feel this way, they can also feel this way. But we are not able to understand them because they are not able to communicate well with us. Right. Now, we've also understood autism spectrum disorder during this week. We've had wonderful practitioners, facilitators, medical experts explain to us autism spectrum disorder. Now, I want you to take it from this narrative, and today is going to be more of a theoretical something. It's going to be more of a practice-led something. So I need you to really move with me or side with me. All right. Now, we have been introduced autism as a neurodevelopmental condition which affects a child's ability to communicate and also regulate emotions. That is fantastic. We are also being told that it is a disorder. Disorder here means that there's something supposed to be arranged in a particular order of which we have all agreed that this is how the thing should be placed. This is the order in which the thing should be moved. Now, if that order is changed or something comes before the other, we say there is a disorder. And so growing up in schools or growing up whilst you went to school, you were being taught the letters of the English alphabet, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now, these are the order in which you were being taught the English alphabet. And so take autism as this particular order, all right? Take autism as this particular order. Now, this order is how you were taught the English alphabet. When you say something is a disorder, it means that, let's say, instead of saying A, B, C, you are going to say A, F, G, Q, X, Y. It is misarranged. So we say there is a disorder here. Look at this narrative. When you pick the letters of the Akan tree, okay, and I know this webinar, the participants, we have some Nigerians here, we have some, we have other countries here, okay, so pardon me with this. But then when you pick the letter of the Akan alphabet, we have A, B, D. As you can see in the screen, there is no C. There is no C. It is A, B, D, E, F, G, H, K. So you realize that, can we say that the Akan alphabet is a disorder? Because here it doesn't follow the pattern of the English alphabet. But then we are being made to understand that this is how the Akan alphabet is. You cannot change it. And so we learn it whether we like it or yes. Although we've been taught ABC, but here the alphabets are arranged in a different way. With this one, we have accepted it and we are learning it because we have seen it. It's a language. And so you cannot come to the Akan tribe in Ghana and then decide to speak any language. Probably maybe someone will understand that, of course, yes. But then the tribe's language is the Akan tree, of which it is composed. So when you go outside the country, a lot of people are learning the Akan tree. And trust me, they are not using the English alphabet. They are using the Akan-made alphabet. So autism here, there are particular way. There's a particular method. There's a particular understanding when it comes to autism. Do not mistaken it for any other thing. We kill ourselves to learn a particular thing because we want to know. And so why don't we spend our time to learn about autism because it has come to stay? Pick the letters of the Igbo alphabet. They have about 36 letters. Whilst the English have 26, the Twi have some few. But you realize that, look at the Igbo alphabet. Look at the A, look at the B, look at the C. The C has H in it. Should we say that that is also a disorder? No, but we have accepted that this is the Igbo alphabet and it is correct. So we need to learn it. And so we learn it. So understand that autism is not a disorder. It is the being of the person. This is the person's being. Think about this. Should we all be born autistic? Would we have a problem with it? No. Yeah, last year I shared a narrative I said, think about it. Right now, we are all born with two hands and two legs. And so we see everything working okay, and we don't have any problem with it, right? Now, supposing we were all born with three legs and three hands, we would have no problem with it. But the moment we have somebody born with three legs and three hands, in the midst of those with two legs and two hands, we find problem with it. So here I want you to understand that autism is not something that we should shun away from, because it's not going to leave us now. These are the state of being of people. I am black. I cannot be fair, although I can bleach to become fair. But whatever I do, I am black. Somebody is white. Whatever you do, the person is white. So this is the state of people. Understand it from this direction. All right. Now, also think of autism spectrum as the way you learn a language. Yes. When you're learning a language, that is why I brought in the alphabet. When you're learning English language or any other language, there are 4 levels. We have the novice level, we have the intermediate level, we have the advanced level, and then we have the superior level. The novice level means that you need extra help with regards to the language. And so here, you have to go for classes, you have to read more, people have to read to you, people have to add symbols and signs to it so that you can understand the language. I quite remember when I was learning French. Up to now, I'm not able to understand the French because nobody gave me that support. You get it? And so here, understand also that autism comes with levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3, and the kind of support they need. Somebody who is a superior in the language is like, let's say somebody who is autism level 1. That person will need support, all right, but then it wouldn't be as the one on level 3. Understand it from this narrative. Do you understand? Now, if you're able to do that, then you are going to now accept autism, because here, this is what I want to do. Before this lecture or before this session, you are supposed to accept autism, not shun away from it. That is my goal. And so that is why I want you to relate it to this so that you can understand it better. So here, somebody who is an intermediate, although can speak the language, but then will require help. He or she would not speak fluently like somebody who is a superior in the language or an advance in the language. So same way, autism spectrum disorder, those on level 1 will need help, but it wouldn't be as those on level 2 and those on level 3. So understand it from this narrative, right? Now, let's look at the formation of the brain. Today, I want to be more of a neurologist, all right? So let's look at more of the brain, how the brain works. Now, for the first 2 to 3 weeks, we are doing the brain because I need you to establish this foundation, because I know some of you are teachers and some of you are new to this program. Some of you are hearing autism for the first time, and some of you also were not able to join the previous sessions. And so this session is where I want you to capture everything, because tomorrow will be the consultation, right? And so here, I want you to understand how the brain is formed or how the brain works. That would be our basis for what I want to add up. And so for the first 2 to 3 weeks after conception, okay, is when your child's brain starts to develop. So that is why we call it the prenatal development stage. So it comes into the germinal stage, we have the embryonic stage, and then the fetal stage. These are the stages the child brain go through before birth. That is why we call it the prenatal state. Okay, so it is very important that you go for the for antenatal. That is why we call it antenatal. Now, natal here means that everything that happens before the birth comes, or the time of birth. Okay, so antenatal will be the medication that you are going to take, the checkups you are going to do to see if your child is developing, the medication and everything. These are what comes together, what we call the antenatal. Now, the natal is the time you are going to give birth. All right. So what you do before you give birth is the antenatal. Fantastic. Understand this from this angle. Now, the moment you realize that you have missed your menstruation, most of the time during the month, maybe if you're a lady and you want to see your side, you want to see that you are menstruating and you miss those ones, that is when you go to the hospital to check your pregnancy status. Now, when you go and then they tell you you are 4 months, you are 3 weeks pregnant, you are 4 days pregnant, you are 5 weeks pregnant, you are this and this and this and that. Understand that that is not the time the baby came into your womb. Understand that the baby is already there forming up, but you are not aware. That is where the brain has started forming. You get it? And so if you are not able to understand it from this narrative, then you are going to put yourself into dismay. Now, we'll speak more into the brain. Now, when a child is in the womb and is forming up, the only thing we have control over is the kind of food we eat, the water we drink, and whatever we do to help the baby in the womb. But then we don't have control over how it forms. When they are being given birth to, that is where we have the control, where we can add up. Now, consider the child's brain in this particular narrative. Here, when the child is being given birth to, the child has 25% of an adult brain. An adult brain is 100%. And so when the child is given birth to, the child has 25% of an adult brain. So here, if the child is 1 year, 3 years, let's consider 1 year. For the 1 year, the child has 70% of the adult brain. Look at how wide the gap is. Just 1 year, the child is able to have 70% of an adult brain. And so this is what I want you to understand, that if you have anything to teach the child, if you have anything to correct in the child, if you have anything to give the child, this is the time for you to give it. Understand it. This is a time for you to give it, because while the child is in the womb, you have less control over it. But when it comes out, you have all the control over it. And so that is where they are going to base our foundation. Don't think about an autistic child here for the meantime. Think about children in general. Of course, you can equate an autistic child into that sector. But think about children in general. This is how they are developed. And so this is how you need, or the amount of energy you need to put in whenever a child is learning or growing. That is why I am so keen on teachers, on how you train these children at the preschool level, because that is where we are building the foundation. Look at the percentage of the amount of brain formation that goes on there before the child becomes an adult. It's very, 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 very important. And when it comes to intelligence, I will tell you something. Now, there are a lot of things that we need to consider when it comes to intelligence. Somebody will tell me that, oh, okay, intelligence is genetic. Fantastic. I'm not disputing that fact. It is genetics. Genetics can also help increase your child intelligence. You look at the parental care that you give to the child, the nutrition that you give to the child, and then the education you give to the child. All these things comes to together to help the child to be able to learn or become intelligent. And so we say that the child brain here is such that it is more of neurons, okay, that needs to be created to help the child move on. Now, let's look at this particular receptors, and I will explain why. I will explain why we need to consider this particular thing. Now, the child brain has a lot of paths in it. So, like when I say path, I mean a way, or in the account language, we say a coin didim, and I say a coin bebre. It has a lot of patterns or ways in it in the child's brain. Yes. And so here, as a parent, I said you are responsible for your child. You are supposed to adapt to your child. You're supposed to teach your child, educate your child, and help them generate more neurons that will create their brain cells. The brains have cells, and then everything that you do in this minute, like today, right now, I am speaking to you on autism spectrum disorder. What I'm doing is now creating neurons. And how am I creating the neurons? I'm creating the neurons by talking to you, you listening and taking it into your brain, and the brain processing it to become an information, and it stays as part of the neurons. And so if your child doesn't know a lot of things, the child has no neuron. So this particular movie, Tarzan, is a movie I love to watch and I love to equate all the time. The child was giving birth to, and there was a plane crash. Now the child fell in the bush or the forest and was nurtured by animals. The child started talking like a monkey or an ape, or probably maybe the animals in the place. And so you realize that here, where the environment the child finds him or herself played an influence on the child's intelligence. And so the child's intelligence was surrounded all around bush life, forest life, animals life, plants and everything, because that was where the child found himself. So here, I want to say that every second counts. Every second of a child development creates new neurons. And so everything we learn how to do, everything that we learn how to do, we sing, we play, we dance, we eat, we do all these things, we feel, we touch. All these things are creating neurons in the brain. And so it's very important for us to have time for our children when they are young and even when they are old. Yes, they don't have, there's not a time for you to leave them. You be with them. There was a time I was watching a court issue and a court case where someone said that I escaped the traffic because I was taking my child to the hospital. And so the man was taxed of traffic, not following the traffic rules. The man was taxed to pay an amount. Now, when he was asked to bring the child he was taking to the hospital, that child he was taking to the hospital was 70 years old. The man is 90 something. They asked, why you call this a child? And the man said, whilst I am alive, my 70-year-old is my child, although he's an adult. And so there's no time for you to leave your children. Here, understand this. Now, these are some of the things or the mechanism in which we take information into the brain for it to create neurons and brain cells for us to understand things. And so we take information through the taste, through the smell, through our vision, through our hearing, our interoceptors. We take it through vestibular, we take it through proceptors, and also the tactile, touching and feeling and making all these things. Now, these are what generate information to us. And so if you know that there's a word called hot, when you touch a hot key or a hot tea or a hot coffee or something, it is because there is that sense of touch which has transmitted information of hotness to your brain, creating neurons of hotness. And so now you understand hot. If you can now sing a particular song off head, it is because your ears have collected sounds, giving it to the brain as neurons, and has created the neurons for the song for you to hear. That is why most of the time when you hear songs, you're able to sing along. When children hear songs, they're able to sing along. The same way, if you know the smell of bad thing, a good thing, something that is smelly, that is not good, it is because your brain or your nose has taken these senses or these cells or these neurons into these signals into the brain to create neurons. And so you now have a brain neurons of something bad or something not good. If you are not exposed to all these things, you realize that you are not able to process information. So here, understand this is how the child brain or the child takes information to the brain, whether be autistic or not. Fantastic. Let's move on. Most of the time, there are a lot of things that we do, okay, to help the brain to develop. And that is what I'm going to hit on a lot before we move to the strategies. This is sometimes we consider you eating well, okay? You eating well, having a balanced diet. And so here, when you go for antenatal, when you go for weighing after your child is being born, when you go for all these things, we tell you that, oh, you have to take omega-3. Yes, take omega-3, take vitamin B. Yeah, eat well, drink water, eat a lot of fruits, and your child is going to grow well. Yes, we need it, and it's very important. When you go, they'll ask you to move daily so that your brain would work actively. Yes, there's a need for you to move daily from 20 minutes to 30 minutes each day. Do not sit at one place for a longer period of time or sit in your car for a longer period of time. There's a need for you to move. When you sit for a longer period of time, it affects the brain. So here, I want to say that if you're a therapist, if you are a teacher at the preschool level and even at the JHS and tertiary level, there's a time for you to break your children so that they can ease their brain, they can relax their brain, they can activate their brain again. So there's a need for you to move more often. Also, dehydrating. You drink water. You have to manage stress. You have to get sunlight. It is very important that you get sunlight all the time. Okay, you get sunlight. Sometimes you go outdoor, have outdoor time. It helps the brain. So if you're a parent here, do not lock that autistic child in the room and go and come back. No, give that child outdoor time. The child needs outdoor time, which will help them be able to develop well. And then also social connections. Do not isolate the children. Let them move, let them feel free, let them connect, that is what helps the brain to develop, okay? If you don't challenge the brain will be dormant. And so challenging here means that they need to be connected, they need to have social life, they need to know new people, they need to see new faces, they need to experience new things. And then they also have to play a lot. Last but not the least, they also have to sleep. And that is why I'm going to stress and give you a tip and a giveaway. Sleep. Most of the time, we don't consider sleep, but this is what I want you to know. Sleep is something that helps the brain importantly, and not just any kind of sleep. Check the way you sleep. Look at the picture up there. Look at some of the sleeping positions. There are some sleeping positions, they are for a particular purpose. We are adults, we know. Yes, they are for particular purposes. Exactly. Some also are for particular thing we want to achieve. Yes, but in this case, my focus is not what you are thinking. My focus is on the brain, how to make the brain active and how to make the brain work. That is my focus. I haven't activated the chat room because I want you to find more time and listen. Okay, so after that, I'll open the chat room and then you can just put your messages there. So the brain is my call for today. And so they're going to look at some of the best sleeping positions that will help your child's brain. Now, most of the time we teach children, they go for therapy, but we say it's not working. It's not working because we are not building retention. And here, sleeping can build retention. The position in which you sleep can help your child and also help them to build retention. And I will explain why I am saying that. Consider this particular diagram, okay? And I'll talk more on sleep and how it helps the brain to work better and also sustain retention and then help it. Now, this is the human brain and human head. Look at this narrative. The human brain has what we call the lymphatic system, which drains some of the toxins. Your child will go to school. They are going to eat. They are going to play. They are going to inhale dust. They are going to sweat. They are going to eat things that falls on the floor and everything. You understand? So here, the lymphatic system, okay, of the brain helps us to drain some of the toxins in the body. So in this case, the human brain is able to excrete most of the time. That is why we wake up in the morning and then you feel like excreting, and you go there and you go and excrete. Now, so the brain has what we call the beta amyloid, and I'm going to explain the beta amyloid protein that has to be cleared most of the time, so that the brain will be free. Okay, and in doing this, the brain uses what we call the glymphatic system. The glymphatic system. So during the sleep or during a deep sleep, your brain shrinks. So look at the human brain on your screen. That brain part shrinks. It shrinks. When it does, it shrinks to become more smaller just to create an opening space for the neurons. So we have what we call the CSF, okay, what we call the cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so the cerebrospinal fluid is that blue thing you see in the brain, that blue thing. Now look at the picture of the big head. That blue thing there is what we call the cerebrospinal fluid, which can flow into the brain and move to all the parts of the body to remove all the beta amyloid protein. So consider the other figure where it has a spinal cord. So you realize that the liquid flows from your brain through your spinal cord and also to where you have to excrete. And so here we are saying that most of the time, understand also that the cerebrospinal fluid can flow in the brain to remove all the beta amyloid and clear the brain. So when your head moves to the other side, okay, the side position or the left side position, mostly it helps the brain in retention. It helps the brain in retention and also helps us in the cognitive part, and the brain will always stay intact. All right. So sleeping to the side helps in the brain clearance. So in this case, if your child who is on the spectrum or any other child that you are taking care of, when you are a parent and the child is sleeping, it is good maybe you would tilt the child to the side. It helps. Yes, it helps them retain memory. It helps their retention and helps also for them to recall things. Yes, that is why most of the time. So you see, I was telling you that when the child is in your womb, you have less control over, aside you eating good and drinking water and doing all these vitamins intake. That one is normal. But then when the child comes out, you have everything to do. You are in full control. So if you neglect some of these things, trust me, it won't help you. And so this is one strategy to help you or to help your child retain what he or she has learned. Now let's come to your child's strengths. What can your child do? That is where I need you to pay attention mostly. Now you understand the brain, you understand how the brain works, because the brain is, let me say, the engine of the body. What everything you're able to do, the brain is what is coordinating everything. All right. So now that you understand the brain, how the brain works and how the brain is formed, let's come to your child's strength itself. All right. Now, I quite remember when I was in secondary school, I was told to play basketball. I was told to come and join the basketball team. Although I was in the cadets, I was told to come and join the basketball team. And this was because I was very tall, and I'm very tall. I am 6 feet something. Yeah, I can't forget. I can't remember, but it's around 6 feet 5 or something. I'm very tall. Yeah, very tall. But when I was in secondary school, I was around 5 feet something. Yeah. So I was told to come and join the basketball team. Now, I want you to understand that there is something about me. It is the tallness that allows a coach to say, come and join the basketball team. Great. So there are certain things around us or about us which helps us identify our strength. Now, we have what we call the natural strength. Those ones, they come to us naturally. Okay, we have them naturally. So some people have the nature, and then the aptitude, the physical building, the temperature, the sensory processing. There are some people like me. For instance, I was told to come and play the basketball because of my physical structure. And so that's somebody who is short, maybe I'm not saying he cannot play, but will not be encouraged to come and join the b-ball team. You understand? Yes. So I want you to understand that sometimes our appearance, okay, can help us in our strength. How many of you were, when you were young, you told yourself you want to become a model? A model because you had a slim body with a nice figure. Now you are bloating. You are thinking of changing profession. It is fantastic. Yes. So aside the natural strength, we have what we call the taught strength. That is what we give, and that is what we are going to strengthen our conversation on today. The thought or the strength that we give people, we teach by teaching them. Although those with natural strength, they can still excel, they can still do more, even if we teach them, yes, to do more. But there are also another strength that we can teach, aside you not having a strength or probably not having a natural strength. You get it? Now, before we teach anything to a child who is autistic or a child who is not on any spectrum, there are certain things we have to prepare. That is why most of the time when I come, I follow some of my parents, and some of them are on the platform. I follow them for speech therapies and other therapies. I just want to go there to see what the therapists are doing. And trust you me, if you're a therapy here, please, if you're a therapist here, please take note of some of these things. There is no way you have to do therapy over the table. It is wrong. Mina said it yesterday. There is no way for you to do a therapy over there. That is why you do the therapy, and we are not seeing results. The parents feel frustrated. Yes, there's a need for you to understand that for you to do a therapy and for it to stick and for the child to be able to recall it the next day, you need to make sure that it is safe. Okay, the safety and then the regulation part of the lesson that you are doing. How safe is the materials you are using for the child? How physically safe is the material? I quite remember there was a time a parent called me. Yes, and she said, I won't mention her name. The child had to go and do a surgery. Okay, the child was playing and then I think broke the collarbone or something. I don't know what this one is called, collarbone or something. Yeah, the child broke it and had to go and do a surgery. Now, the child wasn't prepped for the surgery. So the child went into the theater and the child was told to, was booked for the surgery, but they didn't psychologically prep the child. And so the child went to the theater, and then upon seeing the plenty lights, seeing knife, scissors, cutters, and all those things, the child got frightened and came out of the theater room. And so I was called by the parents, and like that child is dear to my heart. So I was called by the parents, and the parents were like, "Oh, so David, but also then I had to travel all the way to see the child and then psychologically prep the child by playing with the operation instruments for the child to feel it's not harmful and other things. And so the child even wore the theater gown, played in the house before the child was entering the theater room. And so some of the times, sometimes the child you go or you bring for therapy or you go and do therapy for needs to be psychologically safe, please, physically safe, emotionally safe, and sensory regulation intact. Sometimes there are sensory regulations you are not able to catch up, I understand, but you should make sure that at least get somewhere somehow. When I was at the preschool level, teaching those children on the spectrum, there wasn't a time that I didn't have a clock on my hand. A wristwatch on my hand. I wore this wristwatch and it drew on my hand, and so the mark is there. Yes, because I was all the time checking their emotions as per a particular time. How are they feeling? How would they feel? Because I keep records with time. Most of the time also, there's a need for you to look at their attention and readiness. We're saying that children on the spectrum do not have attention. When you tell them to come and sit down, they won't sit down. Yeah, that is why we have brought them to you, to help them get attention. And so you look at the basic needs that you need to catch their attention. Sometimes, or there are times at which where I go for home therapies to give therapies to children on the spectrum by teaching them and understanding how they move and other things, and also teach the parents on how to teach the children. Yes, and sometimes the therapy session is not even for me to go and do what I want to do. It's for me to even go and then get them to sit down and wait for my therapy or play with them. Or sometimes you are playing with them, but you are still not getting their attention. Yes. And so sometimes we create ways and means, and I'm going to teach you some of the things you can do. We create ways and means for them to be able to play just so that you get their attention. But the time I get the attention, my time is up for me to leave that house. And so most of the time, I engage my parents when it comes to any therapy session. I tell them, watch me. I lie on the floor, I roll with them, we play in the sun, I take them to the beach, I take them to the park, we play. And before the attention is set, my time is up. Then I tell them, the parents, I'm going to another house, or probably maybe my time is up, I have another appointment to catch. And so now build it from this angle. So I set the pace and the parents build this on. So if you're a therapy here, if you're a therapist here, please, you can also practice the same thing. And also set the focus and also spark their curiosity. This is how you can spark curiosity sometimes. Most of the time, what I do is that when I want to engage a child in a particular item that we are going to use for the session, I try to give it to the child. Take it. Let's say you are going to use this water or this bottle, okay, for our therapy today. I try to give it to the child, take it back, give it to the child, take it back, give it to the child, take it back, and the child will want to now grab it by force. Yes, I have gotten the child's curiosity sparked, which means that the child is ready to touch that item or play with it. I don't just go like, have this, we are going to play with this. No. I just do it like this and bring it back, and the child will grab it. Or sometimes I role play or mimic the therapy session. So I pick the item and use it for myself, play with it, touch with it, move with it, sing with it, dance with it. The child will want to also do the same. I have sparked curiosity. Also, the prior knowledge is very, very important. Prior knowledge activation. When you do a therapy for a child, the next day, you have to sit back and watch the child do it, or even go over and over and over and over again. So sometimes it's not about, okay, mommy, today we are going to comb our hair, learn how to comb our hair, and we are done with combing our hair. The child is able to do it for today, and that is all. No, it doesn't work like that. They need constant practicing of today. That is what we add on. And so if, let's say, for instance, I have a boy who is doing self-care, and the self-care, I use the Montessori dress frame to help the child to do the self-care and brush and comb the hair. Now, most of the time, we take it one after the other. I will unfold the dress and put it on the bed. The child will pick the dress and then wear it and then button up. That is what we're going to do for today. Tomorrow when I come for the therapy, I'm going to put as our lesson order will be maybe moving to the shores. But then before we move to the shores, we are going to wear the shirt. So I'll go back again. And then all the time we are adding on. Before you realize, we are repeating what was learned previously, and then we are adding on. By the time the month is due, the child can now dress because the child have done repetitive sessions with the same thing. That is why sometimes you can teach them something they forget. We don't recall. Let's try to do the prior knowledge recollection or activation. Also, we have to set clear intentions. What is the goal? What is the goal? The goal is to do this. You see, when it comes to learning, we have two main learning outcomes. We have the direct outcome and then indirect outcome. The direct outcome are most of the time what we term as our objectives. So we state it in a lesson note and a lesson plan. At the end of the lesson, the learner will be able to do this, the learner will be able to do that. These are direct objectives that we set for the lessons. However, there are what we call the indirect objectives. Those we don't set them. It comes as part of the lesson. And so, for instance, today, we are going to learn about animals. So at the end of the lesson, learners should be able to mention animals. Now, some domestic animals. So at the end of the lesson, you're able to mention hen, goat, dogs, cat, and all those things. That is fantastic. But you realize that the indirect learning outcome here, maybe for me, I talk faster. So maybe the learner will talk faster. For instance, the learner will want to speak like Sir David. The learner would maybe learn how I am standing, how I position myself, how I am relating with them. These are not part of the direct objectives, but they are picking it while the lesson is ongoing. And so most of the time, I always say that the autistic learners do not learn per what we have given them to learn. Oh, please, they don't do that. They learn on their own pace, and they learn a lot from the environment. So things that you don't think they are learning or they are seeing or they are hearing, please, they see, they learn, they hear. And it goes into their brain. Understand it from this angle. Also, the physical readiness for the task is very important. Yesterday, we had a wonderful discussion, and when I was sleeping, I was just thinking around it. So we talk about us not comparing children. It is very good. And that's why I will go for the fact that do not compare ever in your life. Because you know why? I'll tell you this. We have physical readiness to a particular task. Somebody will tell you that, oh, okay, my child is now writing because I have helped develop my child's pincer fingers. And now my child can grip and then they can write. That is fantastic. Hooray. If you come and tell me this and you want my child to write, and I'll ask you, okay, so what did you give your child to write? Oh, I use local tools. So local tools like bottle, and then you pack stones in it and it becomes heavy and the child will be throwing and catching it. Fantastic. That is great. Now, your child might be physically ready. Physically ready means that the muscles are ready, the bones are strong. Now, my child's bone is not ready. My child muscles is not ready because growth is different. So sometimes the therapy that you are going to give or the activity you are going to give to the child, please sit down and assess the child. Is the child physically ready for that activity or therapy? If not, it won't work. Right. Now, let's come to spotting your child's strength. Your child is autistic or not autistic. You want to spot the child's strength. We are saying that here, what they choose freely is what you can see. So most of the time, look at them. Look at how the child is walking, choosing things. They can choose building blocks, stones, toys, shoes, and look at what they choose, what they like most of the time. On maybe Monday, the child will move towards this one. Tuesday, the child will move towards this one. Wednesday, they are choosing things. Look at what they choose freely, and you can now build something around it. My time is going. If you follow me, I'll talk plenty. So let me just hit on it, okay? Yeah. So look at the objects that they move too closely. Is it puzzles? Is it toys? Is there a particular dress color? Look at all these things. When you do that, you'll be able to identify some of their strengths. Also, look at what makes them lose track of time. Yes. Let me share this personal experience. when I was I was teaching those students on the spectrum, yes, and taking care of them. This is what I used to do. I try to time them on every material or activity that we use for the session. And so when I time them, I get to write how many hours the child spent on a particular material. So let's say today we are using building blocks, and I realize that the child is spending a lot of hours with the building blocks, or a lot of minutes with the building blocks. I note it down. The following day, we pick another material. The time the boy is going to. So with this one, you are able to tell which activity they spend their time on the most. You do that the most because that is where it is gearing towards their interest. If it's in the house, look at the color they are going to all the time. Look at the items they will pick. Look at what they want to spend their time with all the time. Aside they having a particular toy that they like all the time, look out for other things that they would want all the time, want to spend their moment doing. And a lot of moment doing. Some will go by screaming a lot. They scream, some will go by jumping. Look at all these things. And then now you will be able to identify their interests. And then here you capitalize on that because it's what they find themselves doing all the time. And then they will like it. And then you use that to build their attention, enhance on their interest, and also find a profession for them. We will come to profession before we leave. Find a profession for them using their interests. Okay. Also, look at how they handle problems. Yes, it is not all the time you have to do things for children or your autistic child. No, just sometimes leave them. Let them move around. Let them do their own thing. They will meet obstacles. When they meet the obstacles, how are they able to overcome it? How are they able to challenge themselves to do it? When they do that, that is what their strength is in. So you realize that there was sometimes a time that we were on break, and the school I teach in is an inclusive school. So we're on break, and all the children on the spectrum are out together with those who are not on the spectrum. They were playing. And there was this particular girl who went to pick the autistic boy's hand to help him pick something up there because the boy is tall. And you realize that this is what the child wants this boy to do for. And so I sat and watched the girl and I was like, really? Because sometimes when they close, we pack their items on the shelf. So the child went and picked the autistic boy hand, and they told him that, oh, I directed the hand to pick this one, and the boy picked it for the girl. And I was like, really? So what inclusion is all about, where even a child can see the strength in somebody who is autistic, how much more as an adult? And so here you look at the problems, what their friend would want them to help with, the method of this one. You need to know how the strength, the kinesthetics, the verbal, the social methods, the visual methods, what they help them to do. Sometimes you have children call somebody, oh, come and draw for me. Hey, won't you come and draw for me? Hey, won't you come and help me? Hey, won't you come and help me color? All these things are telling you the children's strength, which means we all know that this is the child's strength. The child can color. And so we are going to see that help from that child. You understand? Great. And also, spotting your child's strength, you need to look at what other kids seek from them. Yes, I just mentioned. What are the things that other kids seek from your children? Okay, this will also help you spot their talent. Oh, come and draw for me. Oh, come and pick my chair for me. Oh, come and help me do this. Oh, come and help me do that. These things are what you're going to see as a teacher, as a parent, to help spot their talent. Right. Look at also what feels easy for them, but very hard for the others. What is easy for your child to do? What is easy for that autistic boy to do? That is the strength. That is the child's strength. What is it that the child feels happy about? Does it with ease. All the time wants to do it. If you're able to see all these things, trust me, you are building their strength. So I have a lot of students I am supervising, and I mean from 3 schools, yes, who are on the spectrum. And then I have a report on all their strengths. And so whenever I meet the parents, I tell them, oh, your child is able to do this. When you go home, check and see if we can still have a replicate of that done at home. You understand? I have all these reports. So check their strength, write it down. Because once they are growing, we need to carve a strength for them, a profession for them. And we'll come to that. Look at what also helps them emotionally. Okay, look at their emotional response. Same things. When you bring an object, when you bring a task, when you bring something for them to do, how do they respond emotionally? Do they like it? Do they throw the things away? Do they throw tantrums? Do they have meltdowns? Do they do all these things? Then it means they are not interested in that particular item or particular work. And so there's a need for you to enhance it by looking at how other items can be emotionally responsive for them. Now, yes, I'm wrapping up. Now, autism spectrum disorder. I always say that those who defined autism spectrum disorder for us did not help us at all. Yes, they didn't help us at all. These are some of the things that we say the autistic person or somebody on the spectrum does. Yes, and most of the time, when the human brain is such that when something is negative, we tend to disassociate ourselves with it. That is why up to now, we are trying to preach autism, but people are not wanting to accept it. Yes. For example, they told us that autism spectrum disorder is a neurological disorder which characterized by difference in the brain. We've understood that. They also went ahead to tell us that now, those who are on the spectrum, they do tiptoe. They're not able to walk properly. They walk on their toe. That's what they told us. It is not good. Change it. They said to us. They also told us that they are hyperactive. When you're at the show, they move all they are all the time active, which is not good. They said that thing to us. They also told us that there are sensory sensitivities to a lot of things. They mentioned that to us. They always say that we have what we call the chromatophil, or the chromatophil. Okay, this is somebody who likes to play with colors a lot or is obsessed with colors. And then we have the the chromatophobia or the chromatophobia. Yes, hey, this words. We have them as well. Those who don't like to play with colors at all. We have those who are proprioceptive seekers. Yes, they throw things up and down. When they pick a bottle, they throw. They are physically built. When they they can pick a table and throw it away. They can pick a chair and throw it away. They can pick and throw it away. They told us all these things. We have those who have flapping of the hands. They flap their hands like this. We spoke about it. They're telling us it is not good. And we have those who have the vestibular seekers. They like running, they like jumping, they like hopping, they like doing all these things. Yes, we were told all these things. Those who have poor eye contact, they're saying that autism, those people, they have poor eye contact. They cannot look at you directly. The mode at which, or the way they were presented to us, made us not see the beauty in these things. But today's session, my main key takeaway is for you to see the beauty in these things, because these are autistic children's strength. Please, their strength is not coming from anywhere. These are their strength. They are naturally given strength. Aside you teaching them, these are their natural given strength. And so work on these things. Use these things to enhance them. And I'm going to teach you how you can do that. Use these things to enhance their strength and also find a profession for them. Let's move on. A typical example is myself. I'm not autistic, but how strength came in. When I was a kid, I joined the boys brigade, and I'm always proud of joining the boys brigade. In the boys brigade, I love music though, so I wanted to play the trumpet. I was playing the trumpet, and one day the band conductor told me that, David, come. This is the trombone. I want you to play it. And I asked, but I already play the trumpet. He says, no, play the trombone. Why? I said, you have long limbs, because I have a long hand and I can be able to pull the slide. So you see, my long hand here has given me a professional to play the trombone. And what made me love the trombone, and you can go ask, when you go to the second time, my boys brigade band, Charlie, I'm on top. Yeah, let me blush a little. Yeah, I'm on top. Because my long hands, the conductor said that I can play the trombone. And I love playing the trombone and pulling to the notes that people cannot pull. So the last part, when I pull, my hand is able to reach. but other people's hand are not able to reach that place. And so I like playing my notes there. So most of the time we go for competition and then they'll say, come and play. And I put all my notes at the last part. That is why I play it. You cannot play some. Yes, that is my strength. My long limbs, has given me strength to be a trombonist. You understand? And so that long part, you cannot take from me. My tallness is not something that I chose to become tall or short. No, it was given to me naturally. The flapping of the hands, they didn't choose to flap their hands. Oh, it was given to them naturally. The tiptoe walking, they didn't choose it. It was given to them naturally. That eye contact they're not giving you, it was given to them naturally. They didn't choose it. So let's look at how best we can turn this into opportunities. Look at tiptoe. Tiptoeing. Somebody who is autistical and is tiptoeing. Now he is the world ballet dancer. He has capitalized on tiptoeing. Tiptoeing. He's autistic. He said he found his voice through dancing. At the age of 3, he was diagnosed of profoundly autism or autistic, unable to speak, make eye contact with others, and focus on a simple task. Now he's a worldwide ballet dancer. Tiptoeing. If I'm supposed to go and learn ballet, because of tiptoe, I won't be able to learn it. But the autistic child tiptoes freely, and you see it as a deficit. Please change that narrative. Hyperactivity. You see hyperactivity as a deficit. Look at this boy. He's from Ghana. Phil Bettino. He's from Ghana. And for him, he's the African's first autistic cyclist. He has used his hyperactivity to work. And he is now carved a strength for himself and also a profession for himself. He was diagnosed with autism. Phil started talking at the age of 10 to 11 years after he lost his speech. He's a professional swimmer, cyclist, biker, basketball player, keyboardist, and a cook. CEO, his hyperactivity has made him become a professional swimmer, cyclist, biker, basketball activity, keyboardist, and also a cook. This one, if you're not hyperactive, how can you be able to achieve all these things in a goal? Flapping of hands that you are seeing as a deficit, and so you want to cure it. You want to tell them to stop flapping their hands. No, please. Kate Wellington of Australia is the world swimming champion. Those of you who take your children for swimming lessons, when you go there, this is what they are doing. They are flapping their hands. They'll tell you that's the exercise they are doing to flexible to make their limbs flexible. They are flapping their hands. Yes, they are flapping it. So you go and pay 2,000, 5,000 a month for your children to go and flap their hands at swimming lessons. The autistic child is flapping it for free and can flap out without getting tired. And you see that as a deficit. Please change your mind, change that narrative, take that thing off your mind and help them. So he was diagnosed with autism at age 16, but started swimming competitively at age 7. He broke 12 world records in the II3 class of athletes with autism at the Virtus World Swimming Competition. She broke world records. And you are telling me that flapping of hand is not good. Be there. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Cleo Hayden, she is an actress and an actor, diagnosed with autism and ADHD at age 13. One of the first autistic artists to play autistic characters in a mainstream TV. Her performance earned her an AACTA award and 2 Logie Award nomination. This is somebody who is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and this is how she has turned that to a profession. And so she, being an autistic, is an actor. So most of the time, you see, when we are acting movies, we pick people to act like they are autistic. Her autism, she's using her autism to act. So you don't have to pick people to mimic autism. This is a real character of autism, and she's doing that to earn money for herself. So her autism is making way for her. And you are telling me that ADHD, you want to cure it. Okay. Proprioceptive. Those you pick things and then they throw it away. They pick anything and they are throwing it away. They have the muscles. The muscles are built for that. You are telling me they should stop. Okay, look at Peyton Dix. She's from Canada. She's an athlete and a power lifter. She participates in both disability specific events and mainstream competition. She's autistic. She is autistic. And look at she had a first place gold award because she was able to pick, like, I mean power lift. And when your child lifts a table, you are shouting. When the child throws things around, you're shouting. Please, if possible, harness that energy, channel it to productive things. That way, you're going to help the autistic child. Vestibular, you tell me your child is running around all the time. Your child likes running all the time. You want him to stop. Look at this one. Lamina is from Cameroon. She's an athlete. She won the gold medal in the women's 10 meters at the 2023 Special Olympics game. She's autistic and she all the time moves with her doll. That is somebody who is autistic. And out of his best, the vestibular thing that we are saying is not good. We are saying it's not good. You want to change it, She has turned that into an opportunity for herself. And she's using that to make money for herself. Same way vestibular, you tell me that your child likes jumping on the bed. And so it is disturbing you. You want him or her to stop. Please, you are rather killing your child. You shouldn't stop. Rather get a trampoline for your child. Madam Lara mentioned it on Tuesday. Get a trampoline for the child to jump on, because jumping is also a profession. And here, Jimmy Kanin from USA is a trampolinist, the world record holder for the hardest trampoline routine from standing. He is two-time British disability champion trampolinist. He is diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a part of autism spectrum. Eye contact that you are saying you want your child to give you eye contact. They can give you when they want to give you. If they won't give you, they won't give you. Look at this boy, Zoe, from China. He's a pianist. He played the piano without looking on the keyboard. So you tell me eye contact is not good. Hey, he plays the piano without looking on the keyboard. He's blindfolded and he plays the piano using his ears. And so some of you will be like, my child doesn't look at my face. I want to see my child's face. For what? They will look at your face, yes, at their own pace, but don't see it as a deficit. See it as a way and means to help them. And so the young boy from China who gained significant media attention around October 2022 for his exceptional musical talent, despite being diagnosed with autism. For him, when he plays the keyboard, he covers his eyes. Chromatophilia, those who love working with colors, those who are obsessed with colors. My child loves working with colors all the time. You come and he has. There was this. Let me share this thing with you. There was this boy I was who's on a spectrum. Okay, I was teaching in the school. Yes, he looks like me, so they call him my son. This boy, at that moment, we were painting our school, and then he went. We were just having some fun around, and he went, and then the paint that we were using to paint the school, he poured the paint on the floor and painted the floor for us and saw it himself. This is somebody who is obsessed with colors, who loves to work with colors. Should we say that that particular sense is a deficit? No, we should rather harness it. Look at this boy, Tabo Okeke from Nigeria. He was diagnosed with autism around age 3 to 4. At age 8, he became the youngest recipient of the Austria's Flame of Peace Award. He is the Guinness World Record holder for the largest painting, which is around 12,304 meters square. And he's a Guinness record holder. He's an artist because of his sense of being obsessed with colors a lot. This is Victor, also being a lover of colors. He is a visual artist. And then he has also won the Emmy Award. He was also diagnosed with autism at the age of 5. He communicates through art. He sells original art, prints, greeting cards, calendars, coloring books on his website. You can visit his website and see more of his work. the Vicky acts. Yes, these are people who have turned the things that you and I are saying is a deficit for autistic people into profession. Once I end my lesson today and my talk today, this is something I want you to live with. Autism is not a disability, it is an ability. To term it at this ability, not this ability. Thank you very much. And at this point, I will take questions. Okay, so now that we've been able to understand that autism is not a disability, but then an ability, now that you know, do you have any questions so we can discuss? You can put your comments, suggestions, and questions in the chat room. I'm going to read that out. And also, if you want to raise your hand to ask a question, please, you have the liberty to do so. I will meet you so you can go ahead and ask your question. But you can keep your comments coming, though. I'll read them out as well. Okay. So, Madam Eunice, thumbs up. Wow. Give me more thumbs up. Thank you very much, Madam Eunice. Great. Anyone with questions? Anyone who wants to share something? Anyone who wants to share any suggestions, questions? Madam Harriet, thank you very much. Great. Mr. Francis, please go ahead.
Okay, that's an awesome presentation, Dave. I don't know whether it's a question or contribution, but uh, aside our challenges here as parents and teachers who are making sure that all things work good for our little ones. Now, our challenge is the materials that will aid in the teaching and helping of these children under the spectrum. Now, as you have rightly said, we have a lot of things to do as parents and teachers. Now, I'm a teacher. Now, how do I make sure that children that need learning aids or learning helps will be able to get these materials to aid in their learning processes so that they will also be up to the level of quote unquote normal people, as I can rightly put it for lack of better word. How do we do that so that they will be at par with other colleagues? I know they learn in their own pace. They have different way of doing things, but to aid them, how best do we do that? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis. Great. So I also want to juxtapose it with this particular statement. There are also schools who have a lot of resources, good resources, but do not know how to use them. Resources is not all about having it available. It's about the knowledge and technical know-how of how to turn that resource into a magical tool. And that is what I all the time want teachers to understand, parents to understand. There are times at which where I have gone for home therapies and I have not used any resource bought from the store. When I get to the home, I come to your kitchen, I come to your storeroom, I look for available resources. Why do I look for these resources? I look for them because I have the technical know-how on how to turn even scraps into teaching and learning materials. And so my goal or the focus here is that I will charge all teachers to find time, all right, to find time and then learn or identify resources and how they can be used. For example, this particular bottle, okay, this bottle water, I'm just sharing an example. This is something that we find in our various places all the time. We find them on the floor all the time. Purpose for this water bottle was to contain water and then for us to drink. I've seen people use this bottle of water to create fun games and activities where they do fill in the bottle and then they compete among themselves. They do tossing around the bottle and then they win. Yes. So you realize that if you are more inclined on what exactly you are teaching. And sometimes to the objective of the lesson, you should be knowledgeable enough to situate TLMs or resources to that. You don't, sometimes you go to classrooms and the lesson that is being taught, the TLM that is used is far away from the lesson. It doesn't match up. You understand? And so for me, there are lots of resources available to us. There are domestic ones, there are local ones, there are the ones we find in our home, the one we find on stores and other stuff. It is not about the resource per se, but it's about the knowledge on how to use the readily available resources. Like, for example, teaching a child self-care. I don't think you would need um, any extreme self-care, however, self-care materials. But however, Montessori dressing frame is what we use to teach children in the preschool or in school. That particular tool is a therapeutic tool ever. But when the child goes home, that tool can be replicated by the child using his or her own shirt as a tool, and then here, button and unbutton, button and unbutton, button and unbutton. When it happens that way, the child will be able to now do this activity. So it is not all about the resources. It is about the technical know-how to the readily available resources. Right. Thank you very much. Madam Janet, your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Please, um, about the other types of autism also. You made mention of flapping of hands,
Yes, please.
and I want to ask, there is this boy I know, I'm not handling him. He flaps the hands and then shakes the head. Like the whole day, he can do that the whole day. When he doesn't write, though his gripping is very good. But when you give him the pencil, the only thing he does is the scribbling, not even like inline scribbling, but he'll just scribble anyhow for you. But the gripping is very good. But he flaps the hands and then shakes the head at the same time. Now it has gotten to the point that he picks something, example, straw, especially straw, calipo straws. He can't see one and then bypass. He has to pick it, hold like he will hold it and then starts like flapping the hands and then move the straw or even a paper. Like he needs something slim or let me say something tiny that he can hold and then be flapping and then be shaking the head at the same time. We've tried several to let him stop. He doesn't. And then his right palm, whenever he's like I think he's pressurized, if he's furious, sorry, he'll just be biting the left palm. So the palm and then the back of the palm. So now it has become like black. That place, particular place has become black and it's like sore. That it doesn't go because he's always doing that. So we tried, I think, having a conversation with the dad to get him something. Like we tried maybe a gloves, some gloves that will cover the whole palm so that when he's furious, he won't be biting the palm because it has really, should I say, deformed that area. And then with the flapping, I don't know if the head is part because that's what he always does. Is flapping of the hands and then shaking of the head at the same time. And then now it has gotten to adding something and then we'll be flapping. So I want to know if there is anything that we can do to help him stop that because this thing has gone on for so long. And then the sad part is their dad isn't really ready to spend on him. When you give him a suggestion, he will just listen and then and no, it's gonna be you try insisting and then he'll make you feel like you are disturbing him. One time he made a complaint that he has really spent on the boy. He's just 8 years old. He has really spent on the boy and then nothing is changing. Then the most saddest part is They are three siblings, and then they are all autistic. And the elder one is a girl. She's now okay. I think she was also mild, but now she's very okay. If you see her, and then they don't tell you that she was like having such issues, you won't really recognize until you be with her for like a very long period of time that you recognize. And then the boy is the second one. Then his is severe, because it even gets to a time that he draws, but it's not something often. And then the third one, she's very smart. She also writes, but she always needs pressure. When you put pressure on her, that's when she writes. But for her to get up and then take pencil and book to write, she will never do it. And then I realized she also likes reading of books, not small story books, so big ones, the huge ones. She'll open it, put it in front of her, and then use her finger. Like you see her opening the mouth, like she's reading, but the speech is not really coming. When you ask her how are you, she'll just look at you and then will be mimicking you and those stuff. But she talks, she sings rhymes and everything. Sometimes you hear her talking on her own, but when you try to have a conversation with her, she doesn't. Just like the boy too, but the elder sibling is okay now. So please, I want to know like any strategy to help them, because now it feels like the parents are not really. It's like they are tired. That's how we all see it. Like they are tired. They've spent a lot and they are not seeing any changes, any progress, um, any like progress. So we feel like they are tired and then they've somehow neglected the children. So please, I want to know how we, the teachers and the facilitators, can try and then help them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You had a lengthy question. That was fantastic. And so what I'll do is that I will just touch on a bit of the question, okay, just for others to also learn from. Then afterwards, you can get in touch with myself or Madam Nina or Madam Sausia or Madam Lara or Madam Oshibola. Okay, yes, so we can help you, all right, or better still, myself, and then I can help you from that angle. But with regards to some of the questions, you had the answers in your statement, like the boy chewing of the hand and also biting the hand of some of these things. You see, we have children who like steaming. Okay, steaming is something that they like to pick on and then work on it. Or so they like holding or touching or chewing. So there's a particular boy who likes chewing a lot, and so the parents have bought straws, plenty straws. He likes straight things, and so the parents have bought plenty straws, and all the time he's chewing the straws. This is steaming. Steaming is something you cannot take from an autistic child, and they cannot stop. That is what calms their nerves. That is what makes them feel calm and relax. Just like how you sometimes you feel very tasty, and then the moment you get a chilled cold drink, Charlie, you are good to go. That is how steaming feels for them. They feel very disturbed, and then when they pick the item and then they are chewing or nibbling or steaming on it, they feel very much okay. And so this way we have, when you go online, there are even hand gloves, as you mentioned. There are plastic hand gloves or rubber-like hand gloves that they can be steaming on. Okay, can be steaming on so that they don't affect they don't injure themselves. And with regards to the writing, you said the boy likes scribbling and scribbling, but the boy's gripping is okay due to the hand flapping. That is fine. But when the boy is not able to write, or when the boy is not able to write something meaningful, it doesn't mean that the boy is not able to grip and write. The boy's writing subjects are okay and able to write. But ask yourself, what is he writing? So in this case, now the boy is able to grip a pencil and a pen. It is now your duty as a teacher to introduce the boy to the formation of letters, how letters are formed. So the boy now has to know how a letter is formed and the letter is written before they can write A. If not, they are going to scribble their entire life because they don't even know what they are writing. Remember previously I mentioned that anything that you give to the child forms neurons, which goes to the brain to create information and sticks there. And so the child scribbling does not even know how to write A, because for you to write the letter A, we have to teach you a stroke a curve and a stroke, a straight line and a curve. We have to teach you all these things. So that is why we have to do this the sun tray method. We have to use the Sampa method. We have to use all these methods for them to know the alphabet. Then they can now write for us. You get it? And then also, parental support is very important. You are not seeing progress because the job is not only for the teacher in the classroom. And I can see that you are doing your possible best. And ma'am, I'm just saying a thumbs up for what you are doing. But then sometimes also there is a need for you to collaborate with parents, teachers, facilitators, health professionals, therapists, and all those things. We come together to help the child. And so if you are working and the parent is also feeling that, oh, I'm not ready to spend, I'm fed up, it wouldn't work. All right. And so more of your questions, please get in touch with me. My number is on the platform. Just get in touch. We're going to talk more on how best we can help this particular child. Let me pick Faustina. Faustina, please, you can go ahead.
Okay. I think it's fine. I thought you were just going to answer it, but since she would get in touch with you, I think then you would have more because I'd wanted to add up that I think one thing I've noticed or learned is that with autistic children, you don't usually tell them to stop something they do, but you redirect them as to how they should do it better. So I had a child who used to spit and sometimes will spit on me. I didn't tell him to stop spitting, but I told the child that if you want to spit, you spit on the ground and not on people. So when he feels like spitting, he knows that it doesn't go to someone, but it goes to the ground. So I noticed that she kept on mentioning that I tried to let the child stop. I tried to no. When you do that, it's something that is building up. So if you're not careful, you might not see the end of the thing if you stop it very early. So I'd also advise that you observe the child for some time and then see what actually the child is trying to put up. Because usually it's communication that the child is doing, but then he's not doing it in a way that you are used to. So, like she mentioned, I have also had a child who would scribble but not write well. So I used the same scribbling and then we built on step by step. I think sometimes we are in a rush to see the progress, but it sometimes takes a while. So you do it a step at a time, and before you know it, I think there will be progress. But I think since you would be helping her from your side, this is what I can add to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Faustina. I love that. I really love that. And to add on to the spitting part, yes, I can see that question also in the chat room. For the spitting part, let me share my my experience on spitting with you. I'll help a boy in Accra, yes, with the spitting, and that is what he used to do. He would spit all the time and he spat on everything. But one thing together, myself and the parents, and other therapists realized was that it is not about the spitting. It is about how the liquid comes out of his mouth and how the liquid drops. That is what he is fascinated about. And so do you know what happened? What changed the whole narrative? We realized that when he spits, he will now point to the direction where the spit will fall. And then we'll spit to that direction. Then we're like, okay. So I have his report here with me, sharing it with other therapists as well. He will point and then spit, point and then spit. Then you realize that no, it is because of how the spit comes out from the mouth. What changed the whole thing was a water pistol. I don't know if you know water pistol. And a pistol, a rubber-like pistol where when we were kids, we used to put water in and then we press it and then it will come out. We bought that pistol, put water in and gave it to him. The moment he pressed it and the water came out, he started pressing all the time. So now we have moved from spitting from the mouth, which is not good, to pressing with a pistol for water to come out. Gradually, he will stop that act. You understand? And so sometimes you shouldn't all the time, as Madam Faustina said, you shouldn't all the time say stop, 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 stop. You have to look for the antecedent of the behavior. What is causing that behavior? What is happening to him for him to do that particular thing? Before we look at most of the time, we don't look at the antecedent. We all the time conclude on the consequences. But let's look at the antecedent. What is causing that particular behavior to happen? What is letting a child do that? Is it that he loves something about it, or he feels okay doing those things? Right. Thank you very much. You can, I don't know if there are any questions in the chat room. Mauli says that, please, on the brain development issue with a child, if it comes, okay, if it comes to writing, reading skills and development, how should a teacher in preschool or nursery to go about it? So, like, for example, he wants to talk more on dyslexia or dysgraphia. Yes. Okay. Cynthia, I'll come to you again. Let me just answer this question for Mr. Mauli. Yeah, so more of dyslexia and dysgraphia, where a child is not able to read and write, where a child is not able to form sentences, identify letters, and all these things. There are ways of which we go about helping a child with dyslexia. I will share some few tips, and then later on we will look at some laid down ways to help curb that. Number one, you have to all the time read for the child, okay, or help the child to read, or read alongside the child. I'll do it fast. Number two, you have to do what we call the sandpaper lettering or sandpaper tracing or sand tracing. And I'll tell you why. The child has to trace on the sand because most of the time when you go to the beach and they are tracing on the sand, the feeling of the grittiness of the sand will send information to the brain where it works faster. So the shape of the letters stick in the mind and they are able to rewrite it or recall it wherever they see it. Now, you have to take your time to teach the child the alphabet. You don't just say after me A, B. No, 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 no. Sometimes even the letter A will take about 3 weeks of activity for a child to be able to identify A, mention A, reproduce A, and understand A. So it's not about going to learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No, no, no. You can pick A, and A, the child is going to, you are going to put sand in a tray and then tell the child to trace A for, like, let's say that lesson alone can take about 1 week, most of the time if the child is autistic. Also, after that lesson, now you put the letter A. If you have what we call the movable alphabet, if you have those alphabets, you put it in water. You put it in water, and then you tell the child to pick the letter A in water. Now, why am I saying water? Water also comes with a different sensory stimuli to the brain. So the child has written A in the sun. The child has put his hand in water and picked the letter A. Then you have to also put other items, like let's say blocks, cubes, other things, and then bury the A with it. Now you tell the child to search for letter A. While the child is searching for letter A, the child is enhancing what we call the stereognostic sense. That sense is where the sense that help us navigate our way in the room when there is light out. So although you cannot see anything, it is your stereognostic sense in your brain that is helping you to know your doorway. So when the child searches or looks for this alphabet in the missing cues and in those things, it registers in the brain. And so series of activities will take place before the child will be able to even recognize letter A. Same way you move to B to C to Z, then you come to words formation, letter formation, sentence structure. Then your child will be able to read and write at the same time. I hope I've answered some of your questions, of course. Yeah. Madam Cynthia, oh, sorry, your hand is down. I don't know if you can come up again, Madam Cynthia. All right. Okay, please say that's great. Good on that for her. Okay, that's fine. So I think we've made use of all our questions in the chat room. Yes, and that's fantastic. So I think we can conclude here. Our time is fast spent. And so, okay, Madam Tita, you're back. All right. Please ask your question, then we can wrap up. Madam
Okay.
Cynthia.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. It's not a question as such, but it's a contribution just to add, because I think as advocates and teachers and people who wants to speak for this little ones, I just want to say that we shouldn't, where we see parents becoming discouraged or frustrated because they are not seeing results, we are the ones that are supposed to stand in and advocate for these children. Because where a parent, and also educates the parents to know that where they give up on their children, then there's not going to be any results at all. Because if they don't have visions or where they want their children to get to, then the children will not get there. Because we ourselves, as neurotypical people, if we don't have vision or desires or where we want to be in life, we will never amount to anything. We'll be there, and even children will become ahead of us or would be able to become better people than ourselves. So if parents don't have a mission, just like you rightly said, that if we notice the strength of our children, we are able to, parents have gone on to take it and let the children become something out of it. We see these beautiful things. It has come with hard work. It has come with try and error here and there. Because I have an autistic child, and everybody say, "Oh, children can sing. Oh, autistic children can play keyboard." I put him to it. He was not interested. I was wasting money here and there. I have to withdraw him. But then, just like you have rightly said, he was drawing to things. And at the moment, all he wants to do is to present and role play. So he can role play and turn himself to be a Nigerian man and speak like a Nigerian person. He hasn't been to Nigeria. He's not a Nigerian, but he will speak like a Nigerian. But if you, the parent, you give up or you are not seeing any results, then who else is going to advocate for your child? So I think this is the encouragement we need to give to parents, that if they stop, then the child will stop. And I think that is what I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Cynthia. I love your submission. Kindly do get in touch, okay? There's a lot I want to share with you and I want to learn from you as well. Thank you very much, Madam Cynthia. Please do well to get in touch, right? Great. Okay, so I think our time is up and we need to wrap up. Quickly, I'll hit on the few questions in the chat box. Angela says that how can we make the unwanted signs such as lining of toys functional in the actual therapy room? Yes, lining of toys creates orderliness, okay? So it helps them to create orderliness. So this one is somebody that he or she will be able to even work at the grocery store. Yes, so when you harness that, the child will be able to arrange items at the grocery store and be paid for. There is one typical example, Nanaya of My Journey with Africa. The mother is doing so well, and I all the time appreciate that woman. Trust me, she's made it possible for the child to work at the laundry department of Kimpiski Hotel. And what she does at the house is that when they wash for her, she helps her dry it up. So dry it on the line. The child has moved from putting things in line, toys, and then drying of clothes. And now she's working at the laundry department of Kimpiski. So there are things you can think of and have your child do that will help them thrive. Jacob is saying that, please, how do we help handle the salivating ones and those that can't? Oh, for that one, we have discussed it. I don't know if you heard it or you went off, but yes, we've discussed that as well. So if you need more, Saucia is there. Mina is there. Myself, I am here. Madam Cynthia is also there, a parent of an autistic child. We are all here to support the community because we cannot do this alone. Okay, that is why we are advocate for that, and we are going to make sure this information goes wider. The same way, Queen Emma is saying that I have a learner in my class who is on the spectrum and loves colors during creative art activities. He doesn't want to be assisted. How can I help him? Yes, he doesn't want to be assisted. Follow his lead. All right, follow his lead. You don't have to all the time lead the child. No. Just follow his lead. Let him do his thing. And you follow him and then you guide him and then you correct him. All right. Thank you very much. I think we've made use of our time and I've taken much of your time as well. Thank you very much. And tomorrow will be the last session. That will be more of consultation. Tomorrow is not a lecture. It's not a series. It's a consultation. So we are bringing one of the best experts in Ghana and across the world, Dr. Nana H.C. Gazy Tete. Okay, she will sit down like this. And then if you have any challenge with your child in school, at home, understand autism, she will sit down and take all your questions. She's giving away, it's a free consultation we are giving, okay, a Mother's Day consultation. So we are doing this for all mothers, all fathers, all teachers, all practitioners. Please do well to sign in for tomorrow's session, and you are going to be blessed. On that note, I want to say thank you very much for joining Model 6. My name is David Nana Amoah Mensah. If you are looking for me or if you want to contact me, I am on LinkedIn, David Nana Amoah Mensah. On LinkedIn, David Nana Amoah Mensah. The same name on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. All right, David Nana Amoah Mensah. Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, or have you the same name? Yeah, you will see a man smiling like this. Yeah, that's me. On that note, I want to say thank you very much for your time, and see you same time tomorrow. It's more of consultation. Thank you, and God bless you. The meeting has ended.